Queen family. Welcome to Black Queens Uncut. Grab your wine, your vape, or whatever you need to relax so we can get into this queen chat. I'm Monique Lovelace. Queens, introduce yourself.
Hey guys, what's up? I'm Kiki Boom Boom.
Hey, what's up? I'm TK Trinidad.
And today we are talking about gold diggers. I've been wanting to talk about this for a while because I have some opinions and they're probably unpopular opinions, but I really don't give a flip. Okay. So, ladies, what is your definition of a gold digger?
My definition is a woman or a man who specifically dates people just for money. But I hate to do that because I don't think there's anything wrong. So I don't know. It's weird. Okay, let me see. Because I'm like, I don't think there's anything wrong with that. But okay, societal.
I got you.
You feel me, right? So societal definition is men and women who specifically use people just for money. That's societal's definition of, I believe, a gold digger. But it's very gray because there are actually people who support that. They become sugar daddies and sugar mamas where they actually love dating people and giving them the money and to spend time with them. So there are people who enjoy it. And then there are people who have this thing where they're like, I use you for your money. And some people don't give a fuck. So that's why I personally think there's anything wrong with it. But that is societal's definition, I believe, of what a gold digger is.
Here's the thing. It's about permission and communication. Yeah. So at the end of the day, to me, a gold digger is somebody who goes after somebody specifically for the money without that person knowing. Meaning that like that person thinks that like, oh, well, she's really into me. She loves the sex. She loves this. She loves that. But the moment the money's gone, like he's surprised that she's gone. Whereas opposed to you have somebody who it's like it's a business exchange. It's like, I'm dating this young, beautiful girl. Obviously, like we're trading things off and she's with me because of this and I'm with her because of that. There's that. I don't see any problem with that because it's two consenting legal adults. Yes. But the problem to me comes out where it gets grimy is like, you know, she planned, like I remember when I was at the University of Oregon, there were these, and for y'all who don't know, Oregon's like 90% white. And there are the moms who taught their daughters, like, they were on these football players as soon as they got in. They stepped foot into Oregon with the intent to. So it's just kind of like you have to, at the end of the day, you have to, like, there's that communication. I can't respect, you know what? I don't really care. You do you. But if something goes wrong as far as somebody tarnishes your name because you weren't truthful, that's all on you. That smoke is all on you. But I've had a beauty budget. I've had all that stuff.
Yeah, that definition.
And it was very mutual.
I agree with that. It's when you don't know, when you purposely do it and the person doesn't know, that to me is a gold digger. But when it's two consenting people and the person's like, yes, I would love to pay you $10,000 to spend 5 minutes for me. I don't think there's anything wrong with that.
But do you really not know when somebody's a gold digger? Because I feel like gold diggers really make it clear that they're gold digging.
Now, I'm trying to say this without sounding anti-man. Men sometimes can be a little, what's the word?
I don't think so. I think you're giving them too much credit.
No, I'm not. I'm trying to say men, I think, know better. I think I'm trying to say
they want. I feel like everybody has an agenda.
I think men know when they're getting gold digged on, but they don't care because of what the woman looks like.
Exactly.
There's a specific type of woman that they don't mind digging for their gold. If that
which we're going to talk about. Pretty privilege.
Yeah. So I do think men know, especially, you know what I'm saying? Like, there's some women who may like older, like sugar mamas who may actually like someone. And I know that's why a lot of older women with money, they do find it hard to date men because they're like, I don't know if they want me for me or for my money. But when it comes to men with money, I think they actually enjoy it.
But see, this is the thing. Even if you are technically using somebody for money, I feel like it's very clear because if somebody else can point it out, you kind of know. You just want, as human beings, because we don't like to be self-aware, you have an agenda and you don't want to expose your agenda. because you can see their agenda, but you don't want to expose yours. Because like, even if a woman is like, yo, I like him, but I really don't know if he's using me for my money or not, that means that you're lonely and you want somebody and you know that's not right, but you're willing to overlook it because you're lonely.
Yeah, like there's that, but I can see. I remember a time seeing like where it's very clear, like the guy is like, the guy is not only ugly, because you have ugly guys who are very confident, but then you have ugly guys who are not very confident, and you can see that he's clearly in love. Like he clearly is in love, and he thinks this is real. Like that's where, again, you do you, but for me, like I'd rather be in a situation where it's like we both know what it is. Like I'm getting a beauty budget because we like you got the money. So,
I don't believe that, because if you know you're an ugly guy and you got a pretty girl, you're going to hang on to her just because somebody pretty now wants to be around you. Like that's
right. But if you think that she actually loves you, though,
no,
like, there's that.
He's ugly, and he's dorky and he hasn't had girlfriends. I'm about to have to bring Josh in on this one, and he hasn't had girlfriends or women that are really interested in him. And this beautiful woman who everybody is going after is interested. He knows she is probably not in love with him, but because of pretty privilege, he now has somebody. That's why men go for the money anyway. You have to have something. You gotta have good dick, or you gotta have
something to table.
I think sometimes, like I think it's like a cycle, right? Like where men and women with money, they purposely show off the money to attract the people who want the money. Then they complain about the people who use them for the money, but they're doing it for the attention. Like when guys do that, and I'm like, when you guys go to the club and you buy bottles because you want attention from the women to come to your table, but then you complain about these type of women, but you're trying to get their attention. Women with money will do the same thing. So I'm like, and men sometimes, like you said, like have the pretty girl on their arm and they're not doing it. They do it to like show off to their guy friends. And then they complain. But I'm like the celebrities who feel like they're getting got. Like, you know, there's a celebrity right now, a basketball player who got by a known female who gets men, but you went in raw dog, but that's who she is. And you knew that. So I can't feel bad for you because now you gave her a baby. Like, I don't feel sympathy for you. Like,
so can like this, is there such a thing as a gold digger in the way that we make it look bad? Because honestly, I don't think it's a bad thing. I think people try to victimize themselves and they know they're with a gold digger.
I can't, no, I do, no. Because
I just think that sometimes you have different tiers of gold diggers. And it's kind of like I equate it to like the stripper at the club who's making the most amount of money. It's not necessarily about her moves. It's how she makes that guy feel. Like the guy comes back to see her every single day and gives her his whole paycheck because he makes her feel a certain way. So I feel like with the gold digger, like the upper echelon ones, like they know the formula. They know how to get in. They know how to make a guy feel that way. And the guy is thinking, okay, well, she's pretty, she's beautiful. But whatever she's saying, because I don't know about y'all, but I know I've looked at some situations, especially with celebrities. You're like, how did you got? Like, she's known, but it's that how that person makes you feel. And then after that, after the baby, you know, after she gets up in life, you be like, damn, she got me. But like, it has to be an emotional thing. And that's where it makes gold diggers like the really good ones to get those type of dudes. I think it's just more of a, they know the finesse, they know the formula. And because you can see those gold diggers, they go from one to another it's because they're pretty, but you can't get by. If you pretty and you stupid, like it's not, because sometimes guys don't want.
All have, like Monique said, they all have an agenda. So they think, I think some men think, right, like, so the said girl I'm talking about, I think though she's known to get men, they think, oh, I'm taking that down. Oh, I got that. And it's like, no, but she's using you as she should, because she's getting away with it. And then y'all think because you get to fuck her and you're like, oh, but I did hit. And it's like, but no, now she has your kid and you got her locked in for the rest of your life. And now you on Instagram boo-hooing because you can't see your kid because now she done moved on to the next important player.
Right. And this is my thing. It's the same way. You know what you're going to the strip club for. So even if she makes you feel great, you know what you're there for. You know exactly what you're there for. So there's no playing it. Like, you played yourself. You didn't get played. You played yourself because she was very up forth about what she was giving you. That's her job.
Well, no, you're right. But I think there's different levels. Like there's those guys who go and they give their check because that's what they want. But then there's some guys who like they actually fall in love with the strippers. It's like there's those guys. There's those guys who's like clearly something wrong.
And that's what I'm saying is that is gold digging really a bad thing? Because it's usually normally very out there. Like, it's just one person decided to say, oh, well, because gold digging is technically about money. One person decided to give up the money, and now the other person is blamed for gold digging when you knew what it was in the first place. Just like when you go to the strip club, if you fall in love with a stripper, you know what it is.
Right.
You know what it is.
I think gold digging is like, it started at the beginning of time. It's like money and status, where I was watching a show where, like, for instance, I was watching Game of Thrones, and like the purpose in Game of Thrones is you marry people who have a certain status, and that's how people are born. Same thing with the kings and queens and prince and princesses. They're literally born and raised to marry someone with a status and money, and the king on the end and the queen on the end knows why that person is coming into their lives. So it's like, this has been since the beginning of time, child. People using people for money and status, and people on the other end know about it.
I think it was a man who made up gold digging because they didn't want a woman, and now we have the gender conforms, but we're talking about men and women back in time. So you made this up to make you feel better, because what's the difference between a man always wanting the punani and a woman wanting money? Our priorities are just different, but we are wanting something. So I don't understand how you can say gold digging. Where's the difference for punani digging?
I think you're onto something. I feel like the man started saying something because, she got what she wanted and then she moved on. Like, she didn't stay in the situation. And I think that's where the term, that's where, I mean, I'm sure I can look it up in Urban Dictionary. There might be a whole another reason, but I feel like guys start like, a guy doesn't call you crazy or you're a bitch or you're anything until you injure his ego.
Facts.
So I think the gold digger is like, you knew what the exchange was. She got up on the exchange. She's now created her own business or whatever. She moved them to the guy she actually loved. And now she's still getting a check from you. And now she's a gold digger.
That part. I think you're absolutely right. I think you both are right. I think a man created that. And like TK said, I think it's because a woman got what she wanted. She got her needs. And she was like, thank you so much. And led to, he was like, absolutely not, bitch.
Bye-bye.
Absolutely not. This bitch done hurt my
heartbroken.
Feelings. She's a gold digger, and she moved on to the next. And I think you're right. People don't call you out into their matter until you do something to them. So that's how, like, I believe gold digger came about, crazy and all that other stuff. I agree.
Yeah, so maybe she wasn't crazy when you were in her. Like,
okay,
come on now,
right? So
maybe like women say men got little dicks, and I'm like, well, you were having sex with that person for like 10 years. Now their dick's little. Come on, don't do that.
Right? Yeah, don't
do that.
Just
now it's little. Work out. Like, it was a little last week. Now it's little. Okay.
Right.
Exactly. So TK, before we go on to our next little subject, Lawan.
Well, speaking about little dicks, Lawan is one of our sponsors. Lawan, and I know I'm not going on like whatever. It's the motion in the ocean. But if you need some assistance, our sponsor Lawan is a woman-founded premier brand of personal vibrating massages that will bring you unparalleled quality to a notorious sketchy industry. And let me tell you, the products that they have, they're so beautiful, they're so tiny. The people in TSA don't know what's going on. Your gentleman caller, Boothang, whoever you're with or you're not with, you can use it. You can have a long night session. You can have a 5-minute quickie with yourself, call it a day. Definitely something that you want to use, and it's pretty. Like, some of these old school ones, they're like, why am I putting this along my pretty body? Like, But it's pretty. So it's pretty on pretty. It makes sense. They have a lot of products there. They have the whole pearl thing. They have some silver stuff. It's the whole thing. If you want to explore stuff with yourself, so now you come with your boo thing, knowing some extra stuff, you need to go there. So definitely go there. LawanMassager.com. They are one of the sponsors. Go and educate yourself, folks. Because if you do want to become a gold digger, I would start there. Teach yourself how to please yourself, and then you can please him, and then you can get what you need to get. And then, the world goes round.
I know that's right.
Make sure you check them out at LawanMassager.com.
I laughed when TK said gold digger, and I laughed because, I'm going to age myself. There was a show that came on MTV called the Lyrical Lounge Show. Lyrics' Lounge Show, and Tracy Ellis Ross used to be on the show before she became who she is now.
Tracy Ellis Ross.
Mm-hmm. Yep. And it's one of the greatest shows. And it's like Saturday Night Live, but they were rap. And they had a skit about gold diggers, and they would have a song and be like, where are all my diggers at? Where are all my diggers at? Woo-dee-woo. If you guys can Google it, it's the greatest skit ever. But in high school, I would go to school and me and my friends would say that. But I went to an all-white school and they thought that we were singing the N-word. So we played softball and we'd be like, where are all my diggers at? And they're like, tell the girls they cannot say the N-word. And I'm like, we're talking about gold diggers. Super random, but I just want everyone to look that up because it's Tracy Ellis Ross. It's one of the funniest skits ever. It's about gold diggers.
Is that when she was on? Is that because like she did that show and then was that before the Kanye West video?
It was way before Kanye West video because my age, myself, Lyrics' Lounge Show came out in like 2001, 2002, 2003 because I was in high school. And this is before like everyone who knew her. This is before Girlfriends, but they knew her for being like Diana Ross's daughter. And then Girlfriends and all that stuff came out. But it's a dope sketch comedy show. It's very old. They have some stuff on YouTube. But look up Gold Diggers Lyrical Lounge Show or Lyrics' Lounge Show with Tracy Ellis Ross. Very funny.
Yeah, I have to look that one up because I haven't seen it. But speaking of gold, saying it yourself, have y'all ever been a gold digger and are y'all okay with it?
No, I've never been a gold digger. I wish I was.
I guess I have.
I know.
But again, it's been.
I'm sorry. Say it out loud, Kiki, because that's what I want to say.
What do you say?
I've never been a gold digger, but I wish I was. Listen, I feel like in my 20s I did all the right shit and nothing worked out. And now I'm in my 30s and I'm upset and I feel like I done fucked up my life and I did everything wrong. And now I'm like, I just feel like the women and men who live their best lives are living their lives. So now I'm like, I should be a gold digger now because I did all the right things in my 20s and it didn't work out for me. So it's hard to be. No, willingly, no. I've never actively dated someone.
Accidentally somebody gave you some money?
I never actively dated someone just because of their money and status. Like that's never been my thing. That's not who I am. Now, that does not mean that I don't enjoy someone spending money and giving gifts, but I never went after someone for their money. Maybe
have they done that? Have you had somebody who's done that?
I have someone like treat me, be very nice and buy things and because of who I am. So like I'm a Sagittarius with a Taurus moon. Tauruses love beautiful things. Sagittarius, I'm very like, oh no, let's give that to the homeless. Like so I fight with that a lot. Where my Taurus moon side is like, I want that bag. Like, so I've never like went after someone for money, but I'm never turning down a gift. So, but again, I feel like I should have maybe did that and maybe I'd be in a different place today.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Gold diggers are winning. It's not fair.
I haven't went after a guy because he's had money, but I've dated guys. I've dated guys who've had money and it's nice. Like I remember I met one guy off of Tinder. We're still friends today. He used to send me Ubers. He used to send me to the shop to go and get dressed, like go and pick out whatever dress you want. We used to go do dinner in Venice. Then like sometimes we just go to some, like I have literally a collection of hotel keys. We go to a hotel. Sometimes we used to go to his house. Like that was just like his lifestyle. And then I've been on a beauty budget. Like I've dated guys who've had money, but it was never like, oh, well, you have money, so I'm going to go after you. Like it just kind of, I don't know. It was just kind of like I was just a cool person. Plus I'm like you, Kiki, like, it's like, okay, well, I'll take that dress, but And Monique, you know, my fashion sense is like, all right, whatever. Like, if it fits, then I'm good. So, you know, I'm not really like looking for these specific things. Now, like for my nails and certain things, like the beauty budget was definitely helpful. And then even all those guys till today, my birth season, I always send out my address. Like, hey, my birthday's coming up. Here's my address. Here's my Venmo and stuff like that. And they always send stuff because it's just like, I mean, I'm cool peoples. So
I know that's right.
It's nice. It's not, and I feel like it's the same thing. Like and then I'm also a vault for a lot of their secrets. Like they tell me stuff that they don't tell, like that business wise or whatever, that like, you know, it's just kind of like they feel comfortable in telling me. One, I'm not in that particular industry, so they feel like it's comfortable. And it's just kind of like, I'm not phased. Like if I don't hear from one of them, where it's like I hit them up, I don't hear from them, I'm concerned. I'm like, yo, send me one of your friends, like, but let them know that I'm that person, so then I could contact them if anything goes wrong. Because some of them are older, so you know, some of these old guys. But yeah,
I'm here to tell y'all, I was a damn gold digger. Okay,
you live your truth, queen.
I'm living it. Okay, and
because these men don't care about going after ass, so that's why I'm trying to be.
They always go after it.
Like,
I mean, I hung when I was in my early 20s. I was always around a lot of strippers in Atlanta from Magic City. I was around a lot of ballers, a lot of niggas who just like to chuck off money because they think it's cute. Okay, well, I'm going to take, and whoever has, like, literally the owner would come over and be like, yo, he just got signed a $54 million contract. Okay.
Damn. So,
we got this.
So you had that formula, Monique. You had that formula that old girl has. You know what to say.
We like, okay, we got this. We gonna tag team this. We gonna make you think that you can have both of us, but only one of us is gonna come up. How many times are we?
This is an episode of Hustler right now. Okay.
I feel like gold digging is if you want to call me a gold digger, then all you want is the pussy. What can I have a name for you?
That's true.
Because you have your own agenda. At the end of the day, I'm going to see how much you're willing to give. Period. If we vibe, we vibe. If we vibed, it was even better. Because usually if we vibe, the sex was better. The pay stay around longer. You got better trips. You got better shit. Period. Okay. If we vibe, we vibe. That was the time. Those were also the times too, TK, where I had 3 different phones or 4 different phones. And you had a person who eventually decided to pay your rent, your car payment, and it's real. So when some women be like, oh, I got all this and I didn't even have to sleep with him, that shit's real.
Oh, that's real.
That's
like, that is real.
I missed out. Set.
That is real. Like there are times where you would have multiple things paid, and I personally would have multiple things paid, and maybe a video chat. Hey boo, how you doing? Hey.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
You didn't miss out, Kiki. You can still do it. Like it's
oh, I am.
You can. Kiki, you can still do it. Like you just gotta find the right ones. Now that you're older and you're a little more confident in who you are and you can't really hold back, he's probably gonna have to be older.
Oh yeah, I'm definitely like, I will say, like when I was in my 20s, I thought older men were gross. Like I just was like, I think that's nasty for older men to even try to talk to younger women. Now in my 30s, I'm like, where are the 50-year-olds at? Where they at?
Where are the zaddies?
Where are the daddies or the uncles that are 50? They look good, they have money. Because they have an agenda too. They want to sleep with younger women.
Yeah.
Like, they always have an agenda. So I do feel like that's why, like, when we first started and we were like, what's the definition of a gold digger? I'm like, this is what societal wise is. But I don't see anything wrong with that because I feel like people with money, whether it's men and women, they have an agenda and they know they have this money, but they want to sleep with people. So they give it out to women.
That's one thing I don't like about LA because and y'all could judge me all y'all want, but I think that a lot of people here are just broke. Like you don't Like when I be looking at people, like females tell these stories of how they went out with guys and then they ended up paying. I'm like, how? How did you end up in that situation? Never. Like never. How
I have paid twice.
Ended up
on just to prove a point. No. That was just I told you about that story where he just like, because like I said, I've said this on a lot of episodes, like I'm growing myself. And I feel like, not to like look down at anybody, but I feel like I'll give you a short synopsis of the story. We were talking for a minute. He's like, yo, you don't call me, whatever. I was all right, let's book, let me put you in the schedule. Let's go on a date. He shows up, picks me up. I was like, damn, you nice, great conversation. Then he went into talking about how it's a woman's world and women don't pay for nothing. And it's just kind of like guys like that, they're showing their insecurities. Yeah. And by that time, it's just like my mom always taught me, like, don't leave the house without money. Don't use your money, but don't leave the house without money. And by that time, it's just kind of like, I'm not staying for this. So I'm going to pay for my meal, and to prove a point, and to just be petty because, money was coming in. I'm going to pay for your meal and I'm out.
Period. I know that's right.
I've never been in a situation where a guy was just like, oh, well, you got to pay. But there are guys that are broke. However, there's a contingent of men now, the older guys that you're talking about, Kiki, that they're married, now they're divorced, their kids are about to be in college, and they don't want to get married again, but they want to be around pretty women. Those guys are floating around, and those guys are like wanting to do anything for you. They'll move your furniture, they'll buy you furniture, they'll do anything.
That's who I'm looking for. Where are they?
Yeah, they're around.
I have a couple that are really on my track. Now that I'm 30 and I look at my queens, like, I love you, queens. I don't go dig for married men, if that's what you want to call it. But if you would have catch me in my 20s, she was ruthless. Okay.
I will say, listen, I wasn't like an active gold digger, but I had fun in my 20s when I did meet guys who had money and they wanted to spoil, and I was like, okay, cool.
There was no way. It didn't matter. You were married. Like, I could have written a book. I've dated celebrities. I've been around celebrities who I have friends. I've been married, not married. Like, if you were tricking, we were there. We were there in the heels and the dresses and all of that stuff. And I mean, like, everything was taken care of. But now I have a couple of married men who want to give me the world, take me on trips, buy me stuff.
Yeah, these married men out here.
And I'm just like, as a woman who is now older, I would not do that because I want to get married. And I see how that could affect her. And I'm not going to do that to whoever you're married to. Like, but
there's a particular type of, like, I try to tell guys this, right? There's a particular man who can cheat. I don't agree with cheating. It's not like my thing. But there's a particular man who can do it. And that's the man with the money, who takes care of home, takes care of wifey or husband, puts money in their pocket where you're not being looked for. You don't disrespect your partner at home. And whatever you got going over here doesn't disrespect what you got going over here. And not a lot of people can do that. There's only a specific type of man and woman who can fucking do that shit.
And the couple of men who are coming after me are those men. So don't think it's not tempting, even in
what I'm saying. There's only a few that can do it.
Yeah, but no, I'm not going to do it. I'm not, because I will feel bad.
I'm not saying two. I'm just saying there's only a few that can. I try to, like, the men who try to cheat. Who does? The regular men who be cheating. And I'm like, I wish y'all would just not marry these people because you're a horrible human being. Yeah. But again, I'm like, there's only a particular person who can do it. And that's an older man or woman who has status and they don't disrespect at home. Where that's why, like, back in the day, like in the 40s and 50s, when men had like double lives and sometimes their wives didn't care, it's because they had this taken care of, not all, but some. And then they had their lover in like a fucking condo somewhere in a different state, but they were paying the bill. They built the house, they did the groceries.
Let me tell you, these men are in there. The men that I'm currently being approached by that are married, in their 30s, have status, have money, have home taken care of, doing something, and I'm like, listen, it's tempting. Cause they like, listen, I told y'all one of them wanted to take me to Cancun, and he's serious. Serious.
These married men are a trip. They crack me up.
Serious.
Yeah, but sometimes their wife knows. Like
sometimes they do.
Marcellus Wiley, he's on Fox Sports. He had a book that you should read. His book. His book's crazy. But his dad and his mom stayed married, but his dad had a whole like condo with the wife, and the mom knew. But they both decided that we're gonna raise these kids together. So his dad had a whole separate family. But people are doing that. It just kind of, I think the people who are deciding to cheat, there's two versions, actually three. You have the one who gets sloppy with it, then they get caught, then they get taken for everything. Then you have the one where the party knows, it's like, but we just gonna roll through it. And then you have the one where he, like you were talking about, Monique, where he's like, if it ever comes out, you like shocked, you like, but you was home every night, like you was dicking me down. How did you have energy for 5 other people? Like there you have those ones, and you know, do you?
I will say this.
Do you? That's my favorite word.
Status and money is nice. I can't lie. I've dated, like I said, I've dated celebs. I've dated NFL players. I've dated like baseball players. Like, so even though baseball is the most boring, who would have ever thought that? But anyway, that's beside the point. Status and money is nice, and I feel like our priority as women is just different than men's. Like, you want the punani.
Why? Yeah, they want to talk to you if that's
like, I don't really care about dick like that. I mean, it's good, but you know how many dicks are being thrown my way?
Okay.
Every woman's way on a daily basis. Mm-hmm. I don't care what she look like. The beauty is in the eye of the beholder. And I'm pretty sure even if she says she ain't getting none, there's a few dicks that's thrown at her on a daily basis.
Look at her DMs.
She just ain't deciding to go for it. So you don't think that we want something and our priority ain't dick? So I don't, and you know, and this is what I wanted to bring up too. Because you already talked about it, Kiki, is that Brittany Renner. And she has, by the way, I haven't read her book, but when Superhead dropped that book, her books were good. Okay, Superhead.
Tell you, I read every fucking book from Queen Stiggins when I was in school. And I was like, why are you reading this? I'm like, I reckon entertainment. I was like in school and I was so nosy. But see, like before Current Stevens, I remember Wendy Williams wrote her book about celebrity men, and I was so into celebrity gossip. So when Superhead Current Stevens brought her book out, and she talked her truth about all the men in her book, and I read every story, and I was just blown away. And especially when it got to the pop-up chapter, she didn't name him, but then ended up naming him anyway.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, man.
And then you like, hey, then you kind of like, hey, Shaq, hey,
like. No, hey, Method Man, hey.
Oh. Don't come from Method Man now. His wife might be coming.
I know, I'm just saying. You. Yeah, his wife's been with him throughout everything, but he was Superhead's Big Papa.
Yeah.
He was taking care of Current Stevens while, listen, a lot of these men, especially a lot of these rappers, ball players, a lot of them and their wives, they've been through the trenches. And a lot of these men have cheated, and a lot of their wives know and stuck it through. And I think the prime example is Magic Johnson. That's true. Like, you know what I'm saying? Because, and Cookie said on the interview with Oprah, it was very hard. Not only was her husband cheating, sleeping with everybody, he ended up with HIV. So that was a very hard decision. But a lot of women stay with their men, and a lot of these men have money.
Yeah. And the thing too is a lot of these men slow down. Like,
hello.
Some of these guys, they was chopping all the trees down when they was in the league. Then they get to a point where
they like, tied. Now they tied. Now they
my homeboy came
now
up.
Now your ass want to commit.
Like
we 50, and
it's
he's
like I'm tired, son. Like they can't be juggling all that. Like they can't be going to Samantha and her 10 girlfriends. Like it's not. So I think sometimes what happens is they just get worn out, and it's like, oh, you still here? All right, cool. Let's like I respect you for that.
Because if a woman did it, they would drop her in 2 seconds.
Yeah.
Facts.
So the fact, but like a Brittany Renner,
not even did it, thought it. If she even thought it,
exactly,
a certain way,
it'll be gone. But someone like Corinne Steffens and Brittany Renner, I don't feel bad for these men because it's like you have to go after a particular type of women, a woman who openly lets you know what her agenda is. So this is not me trashing Brittany Renner. She openly will let you know this is my agenda. These are the men I go after, and I'm like, go ahead, girl, do you? So you actively are going after these queens, and you actively got. And then Brittany Renner's case with PJ, like you got her pregnant and she got you. And it's one of those things where it's like, but she says that's her agenda. That's like applying for a job and the job description's right there. And then your boss is like, hey, can you do X, Y, and Z? And you're like, no, that's not what I signed up for. And they're like, that's crazy because it's a fucking job description.
Right.
So that's when these men complain, even when these men cheat and the side girl put them in the bed. And I'm like, okay, but bro, like, why haven't you learned yet? If you're going to cheat and you pick these randos and then they're on Instagram on Gossip of the City and fucking Neighborhood Talk, what have that's why I can't feel bad for these men because it's like y'all are asking for it.
What do y'all think of her? What do y'all think of what Brittany Renner said when she said that these athletes are done because they don't be wrapping it up, they don't be wearing condoms, so they're easy to get got?
I just don't. I think men in general who don't wrap it up and you have a partner and you're out in these streets, whether you're a celebrity or not, and you're just raw dogging everyone. I'm like, you can bring something home to your partner. I just think it's careless. It's destructive. And the fact that a lot of celebrities do it. And I'm like, guys, STDs, STIs, it's still a thing. Pregnancy.
But let's just not put it on celebrities. Like
not just celebrities, the regular man, average men we know do this shit, and I think it's
that's what I was about to say. We about to rewind it back to the Love Special when TK asked that question.
Yeah, these guys be trying. These guys trying all the time, and like, bro, like, can we be in a relationship first? Like, let's.
My last name, niggas. Like, you want to take the
like
so you don't know me.
Yeah, but
they be ready to slide in it.
Yeah, because they feel like their picker, Patty Stanger. I think when you guys mentioned her, you feel like her. Like their picker is like, oh, well, she clean. So, and she not, because Nick Cannon talked about it on the Breakfast Club interview. He's like, the girls that he was messing with, like, and he didn't kind of go into all the baby mamas, but he's like, we had a bond and, the condom fell off and then we just never went back to having a condom. But he's like, if she was out in the streets, I would still sleep with her, but I'll make sure to wear a condom. So Nick Cannon's the same thing too, where it's like he thought this way.
Lies.
People with AIDS, HIV, STDs all didn't look a certain way, and I hate when men do that because you can sleep with one person and get something. You can sleep with 20 people and not have something. So I hate when men do that because you look clean. I'm like, yeah, thanks, but you don't know what the fuck. You don't know me, bro. People who have AIDS and HIV, you think they're like, oh, here I am. You think they have a fucking sign on their shirt? And I hate that men do that, and I think it's so wild, especially when you have a partner. Now, if you're single and you want to raw dog the air, that's your business. But I think it's weird that you have a partner at home and then you're in the streets raw dogging. Because I've been in situations where guys are like, let's just, and I'm like, fam, wrap it up, bro. You don't. Come on. What if I got pregnant? What if I got pregnant? If I was that person?
I have one guy friend.
I believe that they only think that they can get you pregnant and that's it. So they feel like since they have money, and I'm only speaking because she's right. Like a lot of the guys, even if it was like, oh, we know this is going to be a one night thing, a lot of the guys would try, and I mean, they would try really hard to raw dog.
They're great though.
And I'm like, you don't even
know. I'm like, why do y'all buy condoms if y'all not?
It's weird.
I have one friend, he only dates women who like actively say that they will kill a baby. Like he's like, if they believe in abortion, then I'm there. Like literally.
Men are crazy, bro. But what if one day she changes her mind and was like, got you, I lied.
That part. You just don't know. Like,
what the hell is wrong with men sometimes? I love men. Y'all know I love y'all so much.
If you got money and status, she gon' want to to
crazy
lock that down. I mean, a lot of women will want to lock that down. Not that I would. Not every woman is like that, because not every woman is looking for money and status. That's
not. I think men don't understand that. Whether you don't want kids or not, abortions, miscarriages are very traumatic. So you may not want that, and you may say that, but going through it is traumatic. So.
And they don't realize how expensive it is. Like I've been in situations where that's like it's happened, and I'm like, yo, we both, and this at the point where I didn't want kids. Like we both don't want kids, but I'm not paying for this plan B. So you give me this $75 real quick. Where it was 45, but but whatever. Like
shit messes up your period. That's the whole process.
Yeah, that part. So it's just kind of like they don't understand. So it's I don't know. I don't want to say all guys, going back to the question. I don't want to say all guys, because I have been with guys who are very diligent, and they're very like, yo, like if we're in this together, then cool. But if we're not, we're just doing our thing. Right. Then I get it. There are some guys who are very diligent, and there's some guys who are just reckless. And the guys who are reckless, I'm just like
I know a lot of
on, and I'm always, I find myself being the person that's like, no, you should put that on.
Yeah.
It feels great, but we should put that on. And I'm normally the person that's like, hey, but when I told you to put that on.
Yes. I will say this, dating guys of status, they are like that. And she's definitely right. They easy to get, and they be the ones pressing it. But since I knew that I didn't want to have no drama or no babies by somebody, that because I had already skipped that during high school, during the time that everybody I knew had gotten pregnant, everybody I've ever grown up with has gotten pregnant by then. I was like, listen, I'm out here trying to have a good time. I do not want nobody's kids. I don't want no anchor, nothing. Okay. Like, I don't want to deal with you when I'm done with you. Mm-hmm. So you need to, and I used to have to sit there until they actually put one on, and they would complain about it the whole
time. You're like, stop, like, shut up. They're like, are you sure?
Are you like da da da? I'm like,
oh, my favorite is like, oh, I didn't bring one. I'm like, you know what's crazy? There's a store right there. I got you. Well, I got one. I got one for you.
See, but that's what makes them. That's what makes them not want to put it on. Be diligent. Now you're like, yo, put it out, because then it's like, well, if she is anybody, then she's gonna come with everybody. So then
why would you should be happy that I am telling you to wrap it up, because damn, that should make you happy. Like, oh wow, she's protecting herself.
And the thing is that, because this has gone on, but you know how you said, TK, that you take money on a date. I make sure I always have condoms in, like,
listen,
especially when I like to get it on with somebody. I have to make sure that I have my own protection, because they dangerous out here.
Men don't like them no more.
That's why it's easy to be a gold digger. It's easy to get a baby by somebody who probably has money. That's why you have the Nick Cannons, the Futures, the Fetty Waps having multiple kids with multiple baby mamas, because they feel like, oh, I got money. It don't matter. Like, it don't matter
more than that. Like, they just raw dogging, but kids need love and affection and attention. And you having 20 kids all across the state. Think about how the kids are gonna feel when they're like 25 and be like, "Oh, my dad, he was rich, but I didn't get the chance to see him." Like, all right.
I can't speak on anybody else, but for Nick Cannon's case, it seemed very like it wasn't necessarily planned, but like it wasn't like, oh, can you get rid of it? Like he was on an agenda, and he, just knowing a lot of people around him, and from what they've told me, it's just kind of like he's not that dude where he's not going to see. He's very, very, very active in this kid's life. But I don't know about anybody else.
Yes, but Nick Cannon, like,
you're not going to be able to give your kids the amount of time that they need, no matter how much you're in their life. You have multiple different kids with multiple different women. It's not like you're by one woman and you can go see them all at once. What if one needs to be picked up by you and the other one is like, well, why is daddy picking her up and not me?
And they're all the same age. It's like, I know his intention, but it's one of those things where it's like, I think adults get very selfish and they forget about their kids. And then Nick happen to have kids all around the same age. So when they're like 5, God forbid something, you know what I'm saying? Like though you may want to, but you won't be able to. And you're not thinking about the kids in the long run and their therapy bills, because there's even people with one kid and you're in the house. And sometimes that one kid be like, my mom and dad didn't really pay attention to me. So it's like to have a multitude of kids in different houses. You may think you want to be a great parent. And I used to have the biggest crush on Nick Cannon. I just hate it because if he was a woman, it would just be like, oh, they need to take her kids away, wrap her tubes up. And it's like, that's why men need to be on birth control.
Right. But on the flip side, we really don't know. So knock on wood that these kids don't need therapy. Because
I pray they don't.
Yeah, you have these tribes who have, multiple mothers and one father. That's a big thing. You have households who just, like you were saying, had the one kid and the kids, messed up, or you have a household where there's 3 kids in the family by the same 2 parents and the kids messed up. So it's just kind of like you just never know. And it's like, what I really loved about that interview is just kind of like you're not in his house. So if everything is everybody is rolling and everybody's happy and the kids are happy, then pray for no therapy.
I hope not, but I do think it's a double standard that Nick Cannon is able to have 10 kids under the age of 1 and able to live his best life. Because if he was a woman, like I see Kiki White dragged all the time and she has fucking 10 goddamn kids. And I feel like men need to be put on birth control pills if Nick Cannon's able to do that. Again, he has the money, but my thing is like, as someone who talks to kids and used to work with kids, I just pray like, yo, think about your kids going forward. Because you have a lot of kids now, and you have 2 with Mariah who are getting older, as someone who has a father with multiple kids, I've been in that situation. You know what I'm saying? Where you get older and you're like, how come my dad doesn't? And so I pray for his kids, but I get why the Brittany Renners, and there are women who are able to do what they're able to do. And I don't feel bad for those men, because these women have told you what their agenda was, and still they still fall for it. So
yeah, I think we just need to like we had said in the last episode, I think we're getting into this thing where we have to become more accepting, because the standard might not be a husband and wife with their kids. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like it's just, as long as the kid grows up to be a functioning adult, that's like the main goal, period. Whether the community helps, whether the family helps, all that stuff. I think we have to get to that point, because I remember I met a guy, I think a couple months ago. This dude had 4 kids, and he had the audacity to ask me if I had kids, and I was like, no. He's like, oh, I love dating women who don't have kids because they have more time for me. And I'm like, so you just impregnated all these women and like never called him back? I was like, that's just
the audacity.
Like, how are you gonna say that? But there are a lot of men like that. That's
there are though, because I meet guys with kids and they be like, you don't got no kids, right? And I'm like, no, but you do. How come you can have kids but I can't? You don't think you're gonna plant anything over here? That's just
that's why gold digging is a thing, honestly. Like at the end of the day, you got all these kids. Okay, and you expect me not to have something, then you need to bring something.
Or men who say, I don't want women with kids, but then they got 5 kids. I'm like, so she can't have a kid, but you can have a kid?
So what should I be expecting from you? Like, it don't be mad when I ask for my expectations to be met. Okay?
It's a jungle out here.
That's really is. I wanted to wrap back around to that too. Let me tell you, I don't have a problem with paying for a date for my man, a trip if he's my man, or paying for something because he's my man and I like him. Or if we're on a 3rd or 4th date and I'm really feeling you and I'm like, I may got this. I want to maybe pull something out, but you be like, nah, I got this, babe. I got this. I am not going to have you force me to have certain expectations when it comes to what you say. So that's what I'm saying is like, men come with baggage a lot of the times and expect us not to have any. And we've done all of these things throughout life and saying, we did all the right thing. And then you come and we're supposed to just accept everything that you have, but you have stipulations on us. What?
You have to be perfect virgins.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
At 40, never having dated anyone, never had sex with anyone, waxed, tanned. We have to be perfect virgins.
So if I'm asking for you to buy, to sift out some money, or to take care of shit and be on your shit. That's not asking a lot.
Yeah, but here's the difference though. Like the ones who are on point, like I find the ones like that guy where I ended up paying for both our meals and walking out, like he clearly had issues that he had to deal with from previous dates and women and his situation.
Because I would have just been like, you know what, stop the car, I'll get out. I think it was great meeting you, but I don't think this is gonna work out. I ain't even going through the day. You not gonna waste my time.
No, he started talking when we were sitting down. That's what, because it's like dinner. We were having great conversation. We were at dinner when he started talking this craziness. And I was like, you know what? And again, there's some moments in my life where I feel like, I'm gonna be petty and I have some cash to blow, whatever. But then you meet some people, like the guy I'm dating now, I never had to pay. I don't pay for anything. And it's never been a conversation. It's never been like I did one time. He's like, what? Like, you know what I'm trying to do. Like, you know what I'm about. So it's just like, it's nice not having that conversation or not having that double dutch, like, okay, well now I have to pay because he feels, it's just like nice to like, I know some women who are married or who are in relationships and they're both working and the dude's giving her allowance. Like, yo, here's I appreciate you looking good. Here you go. Yeah. It's just nice not having to do that. And there's guys that still exist. However, those guys, because that guy that I'm talking to now, he's worked on himself and he's still working on himself. Like, it's just like, it's the guys who are still dealing with the trauma and they're still out there trying to date, not realizing that you have to clear out all that junk. Like that guy's like, who, like the guy at dinner is like, who hurt you? Because it clearly wasn't me. I just met you today. Right. Like, so I think a lot of both men and women, like, I don't think I'd be in the position I am now if I didn't do all the work that I've been doing for the last year and a half. So I think both men and women, if we're not working on ourselves, we're going to meet those guys who are going to want you to pay because they feel like all women in LA all they want is to eat and all they want is like.
That's another thing too. I hate when guys be like, oh, women want in LA is money. I'm like, you're broke. You don't have anything. So I don't understand how you got that concept.
Did you really say that to them?
Did what? Yes.
Of course you did. Of course you did.
The main person who tells me I'm mean to guys and they love it. You don't have anything. Where did you get this concept from? Because
we have our own money, so
nobody's trying to get anything from you. You must have got this from somebody who has money. So I don't understand. But this is my last question so we can wrap up this episode. Do y'all expect y'all's man when it comes to, because I feel like a lot of guys lately, what I've been seeing in like on timelines when this subject comes up is when you're in a relationship or you're in a, something that's moving forward with your significant other, the bills. Do y'all expect for the man to pay for, or your significant other to pay for all the bills, or how? What do y'all feel about that? Because I feel like they try to make that look like a form of gold digging as well.
No, I think it really depends on your relationship. Like, I feel like whatever you want to do in your relationship, whatever makes you happy, people like on social media have to learn to stay out of people's business. And that's something I'm seeing. Like, if there's a couple and they feel like the man only wants to pay, that's their business. If there's a couple that feels like the woman wants to pay, that's their business. If there's a couple that feels like both should pay, that's their business. Me personally, if we're not married, like if we're married, I believe that it should be 50-50 if we're both working, if we're married. If one person's not working, I do believe that whoever that partner is, and we agree, if we're married, we're in this thing together, the partner holds it down until the other partner can get it together. So that's just who I am. But I don't shame people for believing that men should only pay the bills. And I don't shame people who believe the women should only pay the bills. And I don't shame people who do 50-50. I just think for me, now, would I love a man who does it all? Yes, but I also believe, like, I don't expect that. I do want a man to come to the table, like, come to it and we're 50-50. Like, you know what I'm saying? But I also want a man, because I've dated guys, I've been blessed where I've dated guys where I turn around to get my bag and they're like, what the fuck are you doing? And they find it very disrespectful for me to reach for my bag. But they love that I do that because I'm like, that's just who I am. I'm independent. Let me pay for a date. And I've dated guys that's like, no, you're crazy. Or I dated guys who paid for 95% of it and they're like, all right, cool. Since you want to do it so bad, go ahead.
Yeah.
So again, I believe it's what you want to do, but I do think social media people got to stay out of people's relationship business.
I mean, if they on social media, then it's
that part.
I mean, that is true too. I mean, like, yes, you do share it. So, like, again, because I said this on one of the past episodes, it's a free world. People can say whatever the fuck they want, and you really can't be mad at what they do. But I do think it's weird when it comes to people's relationships. If that's what they want to do, if the woman literally is like, I don't want to work and my man is going to do it all, that's their business. I really don't give a shit. But me and my man do, and whoever my partner is, I believe it should be 50-50, but I think it'd be great if I had a rich husband or boyfriend.
He don't even gotta be rich. He could just have a good
Just have more money than me. That'd be great. But I am the woman. Guys, if you're listening, we get married. I don't mind doing 50-50, but
because I've dated guys who just had a regular 9 to 5 and they took care of stuff. They're like, I'm solid, I'm good. Like, it ain't always gotta be rich.
Yeah, not rich. I've dated average guys who made decent money, made good money, and they were able to be like, let me spoil you. And I'm like, and since he's spoiling me in this way, I then will spoil him in that way.
From looking at from front to back.
Yeah.
There it is. Legs up in the air like a V.
Hey.
I have a friend, and when she told me this, I was like, that's what I want, period. And I'm really big now because before I was kind of waffling about things. Now I'm like, nah, this is what I mean. This is what I want, period. So in her relationship, her man pays for all the bills. She gets an allowance, but then for big, like decorating the house, things that, he doesn't necessarily care about, she'll go and pay for. But it's not an all the time thing. So she wants to redecorate the living room. She'll just use her money to redecorate the living room. So that's the type of thing where it's like, I don't necessarily want it to be like he's supplying everything, because I'm never going to be that wife that's going to not work. Like I'll be pregnant. I'll just be working. That's just my M. So I think it's just like one of those things where it's like, I can appreciate you appreciating me, but I don't have to worry about these bills because you're financially sound and we're financially sound as a unit. And in turn, I'm going to make this house, I'll just probably hire somebody, make this house beautiful. So like, I like that approach. And when she said that to me, it's like, that's exactly what I want.
Yeah. I'm with both of y'all. Like personally, that's what I would like, because that's my girlfriends are basically taken care of. So they work, but they don't have to use their money for nothing except for what they want to use it for. But it doesn't have to be the bills. It doesn't have to be like their cars. It doesn't have to be. And majority of my girlfriends, they drive their luxury, like I said. So, they have nice things. They have, Benzes, the new Benzes and stuff. But their men also take care of bill stuff and their money. They work, and they work really good jobs. And their money is just used for, the savings, or if they want to go on a trip or whatever they kind of want to use it for. So I think I would like my relationship to be that way. I mean, but it's like you said, Kiki, it depends. Like what we talk about, what we feel is okay and what we agree to is between us. Right. It's not, I wouldn't put it out there on social because it's not anybody else's business. It's our business. But at the same time, I think it depends on just the relationship. Like, what are y'all feel comfortable with together? What have y'all talked about together? Mm-hmm. And either way it goes, I don't think it makes you a gold digger. I don't think it makes you like, this is when I feel like that is not a gold digging thing, because if you love each other and you're coming together to make a family, to make a house together, to make plans for the future together, then the agenda is still clear. Like, we want to be with each other, even though you're steady and you're like, I want to take care of everything, and you just use whatever you want to use your money for, then that's fine. But I definitely believe that it's something that needs to be like talked about, especially if this is somebody that you want to be with and you're not just using for money. If it's somebody that I'm just using for money, I expect you to pay for everything. And
guys, don't feel pressured, but just sending money just because is always a beautiful thing. Like, then that person is happy, and then you then you might get something in addition to what you usually get.
Happy
Yeah,
wife,
that's
happy
very
husband,
true.
happy
And
life.
I think guys don't realize that either. Like, if you just did things just out of the kindness of your heart,
you get whatever you want, fam.
Yeah,
I don't know when they'll learn. I don't know when they're gonna learn this. They
you'll
might
get
never learn
licked
this.
from back to from front to back. Like,
I just feel like men and women keep telling men, like, you just do things and make your partner happy, you will be spoiled too.
yeah,
That's in general. Like I remember
Yeah.
a guy like oh, like you on the road driving, like here's $25, like just go, just. I was like, damn, where you at? Like, you home? Let me.
or even just like saying, yo, let me like take your car to get it looked at and fill it up and wash it or get it waxed.
Oh
or
yeah, my homegirl
like,
has never pumped gas in her car for the last 15 years.
Oh, I love
She has not put gas in. Her husband goes and puts gas in her car every other day. It's not even like it'll be. Yeah, doesn't even know what that even looks like anymore.
I will say my girlfriends are from our last episode. My girlfriends are inspiration for that too, is to get a man who is going to make sure that they love, like y'all love each other, where y'all look out for each other. And he really wants to be that, provider. I still like an alpha male, even though I'm an alpha female. I know when to submit, whether y'all believe it or not, because a lot of men don't understand that either. They think that I'm just all mouth, but I know when to submit when I know that shit is taken care of. I'm a Scorpio, so I have trust issues, and I have to trust that you're going to take care of shit. That's when it's like, okay, then I don't have to look at you for just money or just this. Not that I do anymore now, because in my 20s, yes, I wanted shit to be taken care of. I looked at you for money. But in my 30s, I'm like, shit, I don't want to deal with your drama or your baggage. I got this taken care of. If you ain't trying to bring nothing to the table, like, bye-bye. I really don't have time. I really don't have the space or capacity. So yeah, that ends this episode, ladies. We didn't get all the way into pretty privilege, but we will in our other episodes, because I think that's something we have to talk about too. Y'all know Kevin Samuels talked about that.
Oh. No comment.
Y'all know how we feel about him up over here. But ladies, let them know where they can find you.
You guys can find me on all social media at Kiki Boom Boom, and my Cash App is KIA33. Feel free to Cash App me. Okay.
You can find me on everything. You should get an Amazon thing too, because people like sending you stuff through that. So speaking of that, you can find me on everything at TK Trinidad. You can go to centering.com to sign.co to get your cocoa butter. Feel free to look. I made something very simple for y'all. All you have to do is Google my name. You'll find my Cash App. You'll find my Venmo. You'll find my PayPal. You can find my Amazon list. Feel free. There's some gold plates I want to get. So feel free to, like I said, I'm extending my birth season until the end of the year. So feel free to give me. I will send you a DM with appreciation and a picture. Thank you.
Her in her birth season, true Leo. Say you're a Leo without saying you're a Leo.
Okay.
You can find me at It's Monique Loveless on IG. I have Cash App, Venmo, all of that stuff, but you got to DM me to get all of it, because y'all be playing. I don't want no $5. No, just playing.
That adds up, girl.
It sure do.
If you don't want to send her $5, send me $5.
$5. But yes, also make sure you follow us on all social media platforms at Queens Uncut. And you can see this episode on our YouTube channel at Black Queens Uncut. And also we have our .com, which is www.blackqueensuncut.com. Make sure you catch up with the following or the last episodes, last season. Every Wednesday, we have a new episode that drops. So make sure you have your notifications on. We love you, Queendom family. Thank you for joining. Bye.
Bye.